So we're going to talk about all that. But let's start with you, Selika, because first we want to know, you look good, all that, but talk about, I want each of you briefly to talk to us about your testimonies and what you endured. First you, Selika, and then you, Diona. And we have a conversation. So Diona, Selika, as we're talking, we girlfriends talking here. So interject, feel free. We all interviewing, okay? So you start, Selika.
All right, it's all love. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Don, for having me, for allowing me to share my testimony. I share domestic violence from the ages of 19 until 22. That was the person I thought was my everything, who told me everything that I needed to hear at that time. I was a young mother, and when I met this person, my daughter was only a year old. And so that was what he used that particular night when I wanted to end the relationship. And so I had attempted to end the relationship several times before, but this time the mixture of anger and alcohol took it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
I tell people I've been beaten while I was driving. I've been beaten on the church ground. You name it. It's probably been, it's been done. And not to get too graphic, but at church, on a church ground. It was after hours, late night, early morning, but no one could see.
And you said not to be graphic, but what?
Not to be, not to be too graphic about the church part, but I actually need to put that piece in there so that people will know, because we have people who are sitting in churches every day, every Sunday, who are experiencing domestic violence on a daily basis. We have church first ladies who are experiencing domestic violence. And those are stories that need to be told.
It's no judgment, just realness.
No judgment. It's all realness.
I'm a Christian. This is a Christian show, but we got to talk about the problems going on because the enemy is busy. He's still working in that deacon and that pastor up there preaching. But like you said, and it's the truth. So we're not going to be ashamed to talk about the truth here. You're right. First ladies, deacons, wives, all that. People leading ministries, women leading empowerment initiatives.
Exactly.
So you were beat everywhere.
I was beaten absolutely everywhere. I was held captive from that night until that next morning. I was beaten in front of my child. I was so battered and bruised, I couldn't even take her out of her car seat. So he literally took her out of the car seat so that I wouldn't leave.
Oh, wow.
And so after all that was over and he started to sober up, he actually wiped my bruises. He got the cold towel and he wiped my bruises and, started to apologize. And I was just so angry. I was so angry and I felt powerless. I felt powerless because, I was not living for myself at that moment. I couldn't make rush decisions at that moment because I had to think about my child and I couldn't leave her behind. Because I know what was done to me that night, and I couldn't imagine, in the state that he was in at that particular time. But once I got out, I went through that honeymoon stage over and over again because I was looking for that representative. I was looking for that person that I originally fell in love with. And I just thought that person was in there somewhere and I was going to find it. I was going to nurture that person back to healing when that person didn't want healing.
Many women, though, do that, right?
Yes.
So you're not the only one. What kind of family background did you come from? Because I've interviewed all kinds of survivors, right? Some of them, they come from a 2-parent loving home, still in a domestic violence, some single, so really it crosses all boundaries, all barriers, all economic barriers, all that. So what was your upbringing?
Yeah, my upbringing, I had my mom in my life. I have a father. I have a stepfather. I had my grandmother in my life. I had all of these people who were trying to tell me, right from wrong. But once that person got inside of my head and just distanced me from my family, distanced me from my friends, where if I went out somewhere with my friends, I was always looking for a phone to call and check in. I've been gone too long. I need to get home and I'm panicking. I'm fidgeting. I'm trying to find a way, to get back because I knew what was going to happen when I got back. I knew it.
Because
Mm.
at 19, was he your husband, boyfriend?
No, boyfriend. He
Okay.
was boyfriend.
Okay. And I have to ask, sometimes it's boyfriend, sometimes it's
Mhm,
husband,
mhm.
fiance, whatever, right? And we're going to talk about how you got out,
Yeah.
right? But Diona, you tell us a little bit about the gun violence and being a gun violence survivor and a domestic abuse survivor.
Yeah, so mine's was, in the beginning, it was the buying clothes and all the name brand things, like
Mm-hmm.
just bedazzling me. Like I'm struck off of what he materialistically is bringing to the relationship. And so
Mm.
there were those signs there, but I ignored it because, I never had Gucci, Prada, or anything like that. And if that's what you're bringing, I'm good with that, and bringing good love. And let's be real with it. You bringing all of that, like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you
You
got me.
think it's
You know what I'm saying? I'm being honest, like, you got me.
yeah.
So I'm caught up in all of that with the signs being shown, and move forward in a relationship, just down for him, whatever it was. But through it, it was the verbal abuse,
Mm.
the mental abuse, the mind games, the gaslighting. It was the emotional abuse. It
Wow.
was financial abuse because he had stopped working to spend more time together. So I'm paying
Mhm.
all the bills
Oh,
with
wow.
my job. And it was crazy, like always arguing, talking to me as if I was a little child.
Yeah.
And just like you, when it was time for me to go out, it was, let me see what you're wearing. If it was
Mhm.
too tight or something
Mm.
he didn't agree with, you need to go change. I need to know where you are. Call me, blah blah blah. And it's just like a lot of that, just whole back and forth thing. And what's crazy is we were only in a relationship for a whole year before, I would say maybe around that ninth or 10th month. I take that back. It had to be like the 11th month. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I had moved in with him, relocated an hour away from my home where I'm from to be with him. And again, he drunk, he was an alcoholic too. And so
Mm.
it was those times after he would be consumed with alcohol, that's when like everything would just hit the roof. I mean, it was already bad that, just normally he would be that way. But when the liquor got in him, like he was on
Mm.
a whole nother level. And so I was just tired of it. I was tired, worn out. And so I made the decision to move out. But what I did was I allowed him to help me move, and actually borrow some of the things that he had in the house because he had more than me. And
Yeah.
so with that, that was his tie to me still, because I have something that he owns. And so
Mm.
he came over one day asking for the dishes back. And I'm like,
Like
okay,
he washing dishes. He ain't even, let me
girl,
stop. I was about to say he ain't working. I
I,
mean, how
I
you go?
agree.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm like,
Anything to try to control.
anything to try
Yeah.
to control. And that night he came. Well, so a week before he came over, the incident happened. I was on the phone with my mother, and so he had I clicked over and said, I'm on the phone. I can't, talk to you right now. In a matter of minutes, he was knocking on my door. And so my mom was like, that's kind of scary. I'm like, nah, it's cool. He's not gonna do anything. I answer the door and I crack it. I don't open it all the way, but I crack it. He pushed himself through. He
Mm.
searched my house to see if anybody was there. And when he left out, my mother was like, you need to get a protection order. I was like, he's not gonna do anything. It's okay. Well,
Mm.
that week later, he came back to get his dishes and started arguing. And I'm like, leave, dude, not now, leave. And
Yeah.
so he was he started talking about how, what I was doing to him because I left him, and how, I don't love him anymore. And I was like, yo, like, I do love you, but I just don't love you like I did before. He was like, I can go out and blow my head off. I was like, no, that's not cool or whatnot. And
Yeah.
so that's when he pulled out the gun. He pulled out the gun.
Mm.
I ran out. He dragged me back in. And for an hour and a half, we just going at it. I'm screaming and crying, asking him not to shoot me. He's saying it's not for me. He about to kill himself. But
Yeah.
I mean, hour and a half
Ooh.
went by, and I remember him letting up off the door because I couldn't get out because he blocked me. And when I
Yeah.
went to reach for the door, that's when he shot me. He shot me twice at point blank range. And if I did not raise my hand, like, the bullet definitely would have blew my head off my shoulder. But I raised my hand and
Mm.
blocked the bullet. And I learned the next day in the hospital when I woke up to the news saying attempted homicide, suicide. He shot himself in the head, but he survived it, and
Really?
he survived. He survived. He
Mm.
survived. And I always look at that like how someone tries to play the author and finisher of someone else's life in their life when that's not your role to do. You know, that's God.
So he's still alive.
He's still alive.
Wow.
Yeah, he is still alive. He's confined to a wheelchair, but
Mm.
he is still alive.
Mm. I
Yes.
tell I tell you. So you said if you would have moved 1 inch over,
Mhm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
you would have been dead.
Yeah, yeah. Because the one bullet for the head, and then me moving, it was inches away from my heart because he shot me
Mm.
twice. So yeah, yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Wow. Where did he shoot you?
So he shot me in my wrist and he shot me in my chest near my heart. Like it's right near my heart. It's right. So
Mm.
they had to put a chest tube in me because my um lung collapsed. My lung
Okay.
collapsed and rib bone was chipped. I had damage to the veins in my hand. So I had to have micro hand surgery.
Wow.
Crazy. I mean, the doctors was just like when I remember getting to the hospital and remembering the excruciating pain on my side, and I was just like moving around, and the little bitty doctor, a little lady, she jumped on top of me literally, and I'm looking up at her, and she looking down and said, "If you don't stop, you're gonna die." And I was
Mm.
out cold, and I woke up the next day.
Mm. Isn't it and I mean, I'm using the word amazing, right? But it just wasn't your time because y'all, the truth is we don't hear a lot of this. A police officer told me, she said they will leave you dead or immobile. We have seen what acid victims, burn victims, they come, and even when you leave them or what have you, they'll come back a year later and try to get. So what was it for you, Selika, and then you, Diona? We hear, Diona, of course, how you got away, right? But you, Selika, how did you get out of it and stay out of that?
Just a light bulb went off one day,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to leave. You
Mm.
know, I was finally
Wow.
able to break free.
Mm.
I didn't fall for the excuses. I didn't fall for the it won't happen again. I stopped running whenever he would self harm, because that was another way that he would control me. He would slit his wrist or something like that every time I would try to leave or to get me to come back. And so, you know, that in itself was very traumatic for me, on top of what I had to deal with while being
Yeah.
in the relationship. And so
Mm.
that light bulb just went off one day, and I just, I was done. And
Mm.
not to say that he allowed that,
Yeah.
because again, I moved. He found me.
Mm.
A mutual friend of ours was living in the same complex and told him where I was. And so he would hide like across the street. There was a payphone over there that lets you know how long ago that was. There was a payphone across the street where he would tell me my every move, or he would go
Mm.
to this mutual friend of ours home, and her apartment was kind of cat-a-corner to mine. And if you look outside of her window, you can see me,
Mm.
you know, and
Mm.
yeah, so that was
And there's always somebody who's gonna say, "Oh, well, they moved to so and so," and some people don't
exactly,
even know what's going on.
exactly,
Some people don't know what's going on, or maybe the abuser will threaten your friends and say, "You better tell me," and then people are scared. I mean, you don't know what the situation is, because coming up later in the month, we have a therapist, doctor, who is a survivor of domestic abuse as well, domestic violence as well. She's going to be sharing with us, because I like to talk to survivors, and then of course, you know, you like to talk to the therapists, counselors, all that. But I'd like to hear the stories of the survivors.
yes.
Because sometimes, y'all, you know, it doesn't end like your story.
No.
It doesn't always end like your story, and it just doesn't happen like that. And you know, how long were you in fear? Because even Diona, even though he's in a wheelchair, all of that, how long were you in fear that maybe he would or brings or get somebody to come and try to get you?
Yeah, that part that he would
Mhm.
get somebody to finish the job off. That was one of my worries.
Mhm.
And I would say, like, I feel like I didn't get over like the whole incident in total. Like, and I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
2020, like 2020 was kind of like where I felt like I was over it, where I wasn't living in fear. Because I mean, who wouldn't be thinking that? Like, oh
That's
man,
right.
because he went to, nothing was done, which that's, we can talk about that later, but nothing was done. Like, the police department here dropped the ball. They thought he was going to die, which I said, if I was white, come on now, if I was a white woman, if I was Caucasian, he would have been handcuffed to that bed. And when he woke up out of that coma, they would have been wheeling him to prison. But I feel like because I was not not Caucasian, but just an African American, they put my case in the drawer and they let it collect dust. And it wasn't until I met one of the House representatives who introduced me to another House representative that my case was reopened, and he was then sentenced to 3 years, y'all. 3 years. 3 years for what was attempted murder. 3 years.
No
3
wonder. And see, I'm about to.
And that's scary. Like, we bring all this back up. He's probably, well, I'm pretty sure he was ticked off. And who you don't know what was going through his mind. Like, oh yeah, I'm about to send such and such to go find her. So anything, being honest, anything. So that was scary. That was scary going through that whole process.
That's unacceptable.
Totally.
Once again, law enforcement. And people can sit up and say law enforcement, yeah, and we love our officers and they're good officers. Yeah, that's true. But once again, this kind of situation, dropped the ball, we overwork, we don't know what, but either way, her case was not taken care of. And let me tell y'all, I was at a domestic violence conference, and I kid you not, and I just have to give real talk. Because a police officer was there, or a representative of the police department was there, because it was a domestic violence conference. So they had different people representing, this is what we do to help you. And I kid you not, there were survivors of domestic violence in the audience. And I could hear, there was this lady, and who was like, yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even, they're like, this lady up here talking, that's not what I've experienced. You know, you doing a good job, PR job, lady. But at the end of the day, when the people in the audience who live in it, if this is what a woman told me, okay, we're not saying, and maybe I need to get some police officers up here, or somebody over that department, you know, because I've had an officer with sex crimes come on, you know, so we love our officers, but sometimes this kind of stuff goes on that needs to be talked about.
It's true.
Right.
And it's a disgrace and a shame that this has happened, Diona. And it's very sad, very, very sad. And it's disappointing to hear, but prayerfully things are getting better. I don't know. Selika, you deal with the police departments, don't you?
Yes.
What do they do? Are they handling it better? What is it to where sometimes this kind of thing happens, like with Diona?
Yeah. So for me, I was the victims assistance coordinator.
Okay.
And so if there was a domestic case overnight, I would make contact with you within 24 hours.
Okay.
Hey sis, what can I help you with? You want to do the protection order? Let's do it.
Okay.
You know, do you want to file charges? Let's do it. Let's go talk to the judge. Let's go wake a judge up if we have to.
Okay.
Let's, you know, whatever your immediate need would be at that time. And, you know, a lot of people, and this is one thing I kind of frown upon, people are like, well, we need to find her a shelter. That may not be her immediate need. She may have somewhere to go, but for right now, she just may need a meal. So let's make sure we get her fed so that she can be in the right mind to make those choices.
That's good. That's
you
good.
know, so we need to handle the immediate needs, and we don't need to let cases like that fall through the cracks. Because if probably in your case, Miss Diona, if you had an advocate, someone that stand there with you, that case wouldn't have gotten put in that drawer. If you had a strong advocate, that advocate would have brought that case and said, hey sis, what is it that you need me to do? And so that's some of the things that they're doing now. They're having more advocates. Even with the shelters, they have advocates there to go to court with you. At your for us locally, we have advocates at the sheriff's department. You may have some at the police department. You just have to open up your mouth and know what is available to you.
And maybe better training.
And don't stop talking with just one person. Keep talking until you get someone who believes you, who's going to back you, who's going to be there with you.
But the thing is, if you're already a survivor, a victim, you're already scared. Like if the first time Diona, so we can't expect Diona to keep going back to the place who's supposed to protect her, who has disappointed her, to keep going back, right? So, maybe better training is needed, things like that.
So what's crazy is like, so when I met with the detective after I was released from the hospital, a week after that, I came back to Columbus, and I spoke with the detective. And going back to your point, Dr. Don, he said, I'm typically zipping people up in body bags who get shot that close. I said, exactly. But I had to put the Lord in there. I'm not even gonna lie. I said, do you believe in God? He said, yes, I do. I said, that's who stepped in on behalf of my life that night, because I know I should have died. Oh, I know that. Shot you in my face and I'm in your face, and you shot me to kill me, not hurt or harm me, but to kill and terminate me. So yeah, I do know that I should have been dead. But then one thing that he told me, and this to me was like the turning key of, it's on the state, not me, or it's on the department. He told me, he said the state will pick up the charges. I'm ignorant to how all this judicial system works. All I know is I was shot. My mind is not even my mind right now. And I'm happy to get out of that relationship. I'm going back home. Y'all take care and do what y'all need to do.
Yeah.
It did not happen.
But and the one thing that we have to start doing first and foremost is being trauma informed on what to say and what not to say. Even for him to say what he said about zipping people, and that wasn't the right thing at that moment.
Yeah.
But, and like back when I was going through it, and I was sitting in that emergency room, and I was blue, purple, you name it, I was the color. And that social worker sat across from me and she said, well, why didn't you leave?
Oh my gosh.
She didn't know anything about my story. She didn't know if I had family. She gave me no resources. She gave me no referrals. It was, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. And that's how I felt. Even if that's not what came out of her mouth, that's what I felt. And that is why so many women go back, because of talk like that.
Why do you stay? Because that's something I was going to bring up. The $1 million question that people have. What should we not be saying to victims? Diona, did you get that question? Why are you staying with him, girl?
I didn't get that question. When after my incident, it was like I was supported by so much love. Like my mom loved on me so much, because I couldn't bathe myself. I slept with my mom for like maybe 6 months. I was just really tore up from the floor up, and my mom really, really loved on me. However, I do know people who get that, why didn't you leave him? Girl, just pack a bag and leave it. And I talk about this in my book.
Yeah.
You have to, in order for this survivor to even like survive in the environment with that abuser, you to be able to manipulate and be able to get out of it, you have to create this environment for them that's totally different from the environment that they're already in. So you want to create a supportive environment. Like, girl, you the bomb. Girl, I love you. Oh, you look good in those clothes. Everything opposite of what she's receiving. You want to be able to instill that in her, because now what you're doing is you are giving her something to gauge off of. So when she gets into the negative environment, she's like, man, it doesn't feel as good as it did when I was over here with my girls and they would support me, blah, blah, blah. So you give her that to measure off of, and eventually it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be overnight. She'll wiggle away from this negative environment, because when we look at statistics, a person who has seen domestic violence in their home will most likely grow up either be an abuser or the perpetrator. Why? Yeah. Because that's what they know and that's what they're used to and that's what feels normal. But if they see something different, or they're born a different way and grow up in a different environment, then when they come across that domestic violence, they won't be as prone or subjected to fall into that statistics. I'm saying they won't, but they have something to gauge.
But you know what? I was talking to a brother, and he has an organization. His mother died at the hands of an abuser. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about just what we were talking about. What did you say, Selika? It is trauma.
Trauma informed.
Trauma informed. Mm-hmm. And this is what he said, because we mean well. I myself, this is a few years ago, had a friend, was in that, didn't leave. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and we're emotional. We love you. We're your friends. We're like, why are what? And why really is a word we shouldn't be using. But this is, before I was a coach and all that. Right. And you learn those things along. But this is what he said. And I want to know what y'all think about this. He says, Dawn, what you were doing, you may not have realized it. Or was I a coach at the time? Who knows? Y'all, forget all this coach stuff. When you worried about your friends and family, you ain't worried about no certification. I'm just saying I could have been a coach at the time. I'm just emotional. Anyway, but he said, you are acting just like the abuser. So when we're saying, girl, leave, and we mean well, but we're emotional and he said, it's just like you're the abuser. So like you said, Diona, just keep showing love, girl. Because when they do get the courage to leave, at least they know I can come to Selika. I can come because at least Dawn, when I go over there, they're not going to interrogate me like my family and make me feel shame. Right. But that's a powerful thing. He said, we don't even know we're acting like the abuser. What should we say when we know they're victims? You, Selika, and you, Diona, they're not leaving. They don't want to leave. What do we say?
My number one, I'm sorry.
How can I support you?
I support
you. It's giving them the option, giving them the choice to say and direct how they feel like, how they feel like they should support. They're telling you, instead of being told, they're telling you how they should be supported.
Good. Selika, you?
Yeah. For me, it's always, and even when I did this professionally, and it's even now, whenever you're ready, you may not be ready now, but whenever you're ready, I'm here.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, hey, that friend turned me down. That friend turned me down. But every time I see her, she says, when you're ready, I'm here.
That's good.
A lot of people say that, and then it's like, well, girl, you can't come here, my man, that kind of stuff. Wow. And it's like, you're
that's really,
see the life come out of people, and it's like, well, you say it, and then that sends them right on back. So we have to be very careful and mindful with our words and make sure that they build up and not tear down.
Absolutely. Ladies, you know what I'm thinking in my spirit? If you're open to this,
yes,
if you're open, I want to do a part 2 of this conversation with you two. Because I am doing it, but not, it might not be for Raise the Praise because, we have it booked, but we can still do it from the home. And I still want to upload that one as well on the YouTube channel. Because I think it's an important conversation. If you all are open to it, I'll send you another invitation and we're going to do a part 2. But it'll still be on my other platforms because let me tell y'all what's going on here. And do y'all want me to keep it real?
Yes, always.
Just realness. Okay. I thank you for everybody who listens every week. I thank you for everyone because people are listening online and they're listening through the app. But let me tell you, Mark Zuckerberg has muted my video. So for whatever, I don't know if it's the content. I don't know if they heard a little bit of music. But that's why it's 0. So if you're wondering, Dr. Don, why can I not see you? Because they're muting my video. And let me tell you how the enemy works. The enemy, because I'm a perfectionist as well, but I get frustrated because this is radio ministry. Why is this happening? And I'm trying to do but a little bit of music and they want to mute it, but they haven't muted the message. It's still getting out to the people. The enemy will not win because I'm still going to upload this on YouTube. But if anybody's wondering, well, why, Dr. Don, can I not see you on Facebook Live? You said you were because they're muting my video. But God has already handled that. This will go. People are still listening. It doesn't matter, ladies. We're good. Okay. Because we usually have an audience, but they've given me a message, but I can't worry about that. But I just want to tell people, if you're trying to watch on Facebook, that is what has been going on. They have muted my video, but that will be, don't worry about that. That's why I want to do a part 2 with you ladies.
Yes.
Because people are still, because I just want the Facebook audience, those who maybe did not. And then with Domestic Violence Awareness Month, this is still very important. So I am going to send you all an invitation and we're still going to finish the interview. I mean, come on. But I'm thinking in my head, another interview we can do. I don't know if you all are available Sunday. We'll talk about it. But Diona, I know you're busy. You're like, wait a minute, that's what I got going on.
I'm sorry, flashback.
But no. I'm going to send because I want to keep this going, but we're going to do another take on it. and I want to do it on a Sunday, I think, because before we go into the week, because we got to keep this domestic violence going, but you can talk about it just in all. But I just had to let people know.
Uh-huh.
Y'all
Wow.
know I keep it real, right?
Yeah.
Always.
Because it
You
don't make no
expect
sense,
nothing
Dr.
less.
Don. It doesn't make any sense. I have no people watching on Facebook and they have muted my video. And it depends on the content. If you put the word sex or if you put it's interesting, twerking all day long. They don't mute that. Right?
Yeah, I'm wondering too if it has something to do with like talking about the justice system.
That's what I heard. There are some people who told me because they fight for social justice issues, and they said Facebook mutes their stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's happened to me because of
Oh,
the
really?
medical situation. Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see how the enemy works, y'all. Anything, but he don't mute twerking and
Nope.
and all this foolishness. But
Nope.
but trust me, God, and But I just have to tell people that if you cannot watch on Facebook, it's okay. I'll still upload it to YouTube. You can still listen online or through the app. But anybody wondering, no, we ain't janky over here. But anyway, because I'm sure y'all like nobody's watching. No, people usually watch. It's just, But anyway, I just have to say that. And I love how we can just keep it real, right?
Yeah.
I don't send no private messages. Girl, y'all, let me tell y'all what's going on, because there is something going on with social media trying to silence healing and trying to silence gun violence. If they hear any I'm telling you, isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
It's absurd. It is.
But anything that's catered to the destruction of our people, our young people, our culture, they're going to make sure that's replayed and replayed and replayed and passed along.
Wow. Healing, mute.
Yep.
She played 5 seconds of a song, mute it. Okay.
Right.
But now if someone was going live showing a fight or domestic in progress, then that could play as long as they're recording.
Yeah. Come on.
Which is crazy.
Ridiculous. But we just had to have that little rant. Don't you like when you can just, and y'all believe it or not, I have my feet up in the studio and I'm just relaxing. Y'all believe it or not? Yeah, we talking like girlfriends. We at home, y'all. That's how we are. But the conversation is still blessing people. Trust me,
right.
God is good. So I just have to say that, because I'm the kind of person, y'all, I just can't hold stuff. I just got to release it.
Yeah.
Because if I tell y'all to be transparent, I have to be transparent with you.
Amen to that.
You're gonna have ups and downs, but God never stops. The work of God will not stop, and he will not, the enemy won't silence, So anyway, I just have to say that to my Facebook people. But I would like to do a part 2 with you, not just for that, because I'm thinking, but I'm going to send a date to both of you all, and hopefully you can make it. And I'll probably do it from my home, because I think the conversation can still keep going, right? Yeah. I want to keep this going, and because Diona, the book, and then Selika, you get much deeper with the book you've written. So maybe we specifically can talk about your books, talk about that. I just think we can go a little deeper, and I would like to do it as much as we can this month. If you all are open, let's do it. Okay. And if not this Sunday, then we'll do it on another. But Sunday, for whatever reason, I think Sunday is a day people are at home. They're not. And I think we need to start the week off with some of this. I don't know. But I'm going to send you the dates and let me know. Okay. Now let's continue the conversation, because I'm starting to act like I'm at home. So let's talk about this, because we touched on trauma, right? What did you call it, Selika, again? Trauma informed. Insensitive things that people say. Let's start with you, Selika, and then you, Diona. What we mean well, but I like that you touched on a shelter. Go to a shelter. That's the first thing we say. But is that not the right thing to say? And then don't come to my house, though.
Right.
Yeah. Don't come over here, but
leave. Just don't come here.
You hear that a lot.
Yeah. Come on, y'all. I mean, we're laughing now, but that's how I know y'all are walking in healing. Because come on, think about it. So if Dr. Dunn said, "Ooh, girl, you need a shelter," Dr. Dunn, can I stay? Girl.
Right. Girl, I don't know about that. Yeah. Some of the most insensitive things that I've heard is, if she likes it, I love it. When they keep going back. There's a trauma bond there. Maybe she doesn't have anywhere to go. Maybe that person, like in my case, had alienated me from my friends and family because
Mm.
no one knew what was best for me other than just him.
Wow.
And for me, I share about that first one, but I heard a lady use a term a few years ago. I didn't get that residue off me. And so that
Oh.
led me from one domestic to the next domestic until I sat down,
Sure.
until stress, until everything that was weighing on me just shut me down one day. And I couldn't tell you my name. I couldn't tell you how to get anywhere. I All I could do was just sit in a parking lot in my car and just cry.
Mm.
And when I could get senses about myself,
Yeah.
I called my doctor and I said, I need to come and see you right now. I need to
Wow.
come right now.
Mm.
And from there, of course, I went on meds and I started my therapy. And my first therapy session, I called and I was so excited because I had seen her at other conferences and, the things that she had done, and she was amazing.
Yeah.
And I called her and she didn't accept my insurance.
Oh, wow.
And my husband was like, no, you're going. You're
Yeah.
going to that appointment.
Wow.
And so he, every time I would go, he was like, here, you need to go. This is important. Until when I left that job and I went to another job and we actually had the insurance that she accepted. And so it's just been gravy since then. But
Isn't it, once again, people need healing, but insurance company don't cover that.
Exactly.
That's a whole nother once again.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna help you heal, but here's some Viagra. Because I hear, this is what I've heard. I need to do the research. They said Viagra, supposedly some of these medications, insurance companies will cover it all day long. And if I'm misspeaking about the Viagra, but somebody threw that out, that Viagra's covered, but you don't cover this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting once again, but go ahead. I'm just so y'all, we got to fight hard but thank God you had a loving husband. Yeah. Go ahead, Selika.
Yes. But like I had to go through all of that to appreciate him and the person that he is.
Oh, yeah.
And, his support.
Yes.
When we met, we had that transparent moment. I was the ugly cry, the everything. And I just put everything on the table and I said, hey, here's my baggage.
Yeah.
And he said, okay.
Wow.
He said, okay. And
I like you mentioned medication. Diona, you, therapy, counseling, prayer. Yeah. What was it for you?
It was therapy. It was therapy for me, and God, because I had a mental breakdown. Like once I stopped called the wedding off, like I went through this whole period where like I purposely was like, okay, I'm going to sit myself down and work on my healing specifically, like on purpose. Boy, I went through a mental breakdown, like, and just like the lady said, I didn't even know where I was going or coming. I didn't know who I was. I was out of my mind. When I say out of my mind, sitting next to my friend, she running her mouth, and I couldn't even tell you what she was talking about. Wow. But she was talking to me, and I was like, you know what? I got to get out of here. She said, well, I said, because I don't even know what's going on right now. And I remember coming to my house because my mom was staying with me at the time. Man, I just broke down crying like, Mom, I don't know what's going on. I do not even know who I am. And all she could do was hold me. She said, call your therapist. Because I was in the stage of working with my therapist. And so I called him, left a message. He called me back that night and worked me out of the rabbit hole that I was in.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Like I just stuck with him like glue until I got on the other side of healing. So I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed to say that. I literally, like, it was like twice a week I was in his face on Zoom, like, give me what you got.
That's
give
good.
Me what you got. And it was like working through some ugly stuff. It's when you really talk about healing, it's lonely, it's scary, it's dark, you don't know. Like, it's all of those things. It's not easy at all. But healing is a lonely process. It's a journey that you have to do alone. Because what I found out was that I began to detach myself from what was adding to the trauma. I started detaching myself from all of that. And so now the medication part, like I've been like my thing is like and I'm being honest, being real.
Yeah, that's what we like.
So I'm like, okay, I'll pray, and and I believe in Jesus, this, that, and the other. But I'm even like right now, I'm on the fence. Like, do I? Because I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, so it's like, do I, look into something that'll help me manage it a little bit more? And I did. I had to talk to my doctor. Like, I don't feel like I need a strong dose, maybe something really small, so that I can manage it and then be able to wean off of it, when I'm ready to. And so I'm starting that now. Like, being honest, like I'm starting that now, and it's cool. But even still, outside of that, like I'm on the other side of the tunnel of healing, and it feels amazing, Don. When we talk about
that's good.
You wake up feeling rich, but your bank account don't show it. Wake up feeling full, but you ain't ate nothing yet. Do y'all hear me?
Yes.
I'm happy because now it ain't a man, it ain't a job. It's about this internal happiness, and that's what I've gotten from being healed fully.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say shout out. I love positive things. Thank you, Lady T. I'm getting a text. She said, I'm listening, Don. See, ain't nobody worried about you, Mark. Anyway, we going ahead. I just had to digress. Anyway, thank you, Lady T. So, yeah, y'all are making a difference. Yeah, keep going, girls.
Yeah.
But I like that you touched that you said medication. Mm-hmm. Diona, you said an extra dose. We should not judge somebody. Girl, you on med? Girl, you. If they need it, they need it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. We cannot judge the process. Maybe medication is not for you, but let's not condemn others and their healing process. Yeah. And I like, Diona, that you're very honest, and you all said it's a lonely process.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Because don't you have to go through it alone to really know who you are? What did you all know about yourself? What did you all find out about yourself going through the healing process? You first, Selika, and then you, Diona. Maybe something you didn't even realize until after you walked through that healing. And you're still healing, right? Because it never, we're all a work in progress. It triggers, could be a lifetime, and there's nothing wrong with that. But after you guys walked through that healing process,
yes,
what did you find out about yourselves?
I found out that if I don't get it back, if I don't get back what I'm putting in, and that's whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, now I'm able to walk away from things that don't value me.
Wow.
And that goes for jobs, that goes for friendships, that goes for absolutely anything. If I'm not valued, I have no reason to be here.
That's good.
And so I walk away for my sanity.
That's good.
I walk away because now I can. No one has to tell me what to do. I can make my own decisions.
Amen. And you didn't know you could walk away.
Exactly.
That's good. Yeah. Oh, Selika, that's good. Now you take that in everything, not just relationships, but friendships, everything.
Jobs, everything.
That's
absolutely good. Everything.
Wow. You, Diona?
I think for me, I learned in my healing process that two things. And it really kind of shocked me, and I didn't even want to admit to it. Mm-hmm. Like, I put my parents on this pedestal that they were that they were perfect, that they couldn't make a mistake. And that was my first breakthrough, which is weird. My first breakthrough in my therapy was to realize that my parents are not perfect, and that they gave me, and I was saying all the time, like they gave me what they could only give me. But to really listen to what that means is that some things they did not teach me, and I went out and fumbled because they did not teach me.
They protected you? Did you say do you think they sheltered?
Oh, for sure. Like, my mom definitely sheltered. My mom definitely sheltered us. Like, I mean, and I'm being honest with you, I see so many flaws in it. Me and my mom, we talk now, and even when she come out and say it herself, like, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have did this, wish I wouldn't have did that. But it's like, yeah, you gave us what you could. But it was like so many flaws in that being sheltered thing that, went out and just kind of like got tumbled around. Like, man, if I would have known that, I would have been able to stand on my feet kind of stern more, or I would have been a little more relaxed and things like that. But yeah, I definitely learned that one.
Then here comes the man with the Gucci.
girl, here
with
comes
with this, with that, with the materialism, with the But I'm still on the he at home ain't working because we want to spend time together. And I'm not making fun. You all know me. In no way am I making fun of that.
It's
But
the truth.
it's just interesting because, ladies, trust me, I may not be a survivor of domestic violence, but I've dealt with some stuff I shouldn't have dealt with. Okay, we all have. Hello, that's another show. Okay, trust and believe. Don't think, I've all. Trust me, y'all. I dated some broken men. Was with some broken men. I was broken. Okay, so we've all been there. So I like that we're having this honest conversation because, Diona, many women stay for the material, the Gucci,
That's it. I hear it all the time. Like, he buying me this and he buying me that. Like, I'm not about to let that go. And it's like, you're not letting that go.
And abuse. And they're in abuse.
Yes. Yeah. He dogging you out. He doing you wrong. He a womanizer. He putting this woman in your face in this way. And you still like, I'm not about to let that go because of the materialistic. Like, you devaluing yourself. So that's your value. Your value standard is Gucci and Prada. Like, come on now. But that's where that whole self-esteem thing come in. But that's another story. But one thing.
No. You're giving me some ideas for when we do the Sunday.
Okay.
Say that Sunday. Yeah. What is that Oprah does that Super Soul? We gonna do an Oprah Super Soul Sunday.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes. Yeah. That's another thing about that because that's the back door to domestic violence. But
you were there yourself though.
Girl,
I mean, Now, this is a question I have, and I'm going to start with you, Selika, and then you, Diona, because I always like to ask people who have walked it. Can you all look at a woman and say, I know she's getting abused? Like, whether it be through social media, whether you see her and everybody loves her, she looks good, all this. Do you have some kind of strong discernment? Selika, I want to start with you where you're like, she looks good and she doing this women empowerment, but she's something. It ain't right. Do your spidey senses go off? Do you?
You can tell in their mannerisms. You can tell in, a lot of times you'll see them out front and they're known as these alpha females, but behind closed doors, they're being abused. Again, I'll use for an example, the first ladies. You see them and they're there every Sunday and they have the big hats and the nice dresses and behind closed doors. But you can, and and I talk a lot and I say I wear that letter like the book, the Scarlet Letter, and people can literally look at you and tell that you're vulnerable, you have low self-esteem. It's in your posture.
But see, hold on though. We see a lot of women look good, y'all. A lot of the social media, everybody looking good. And then it's exposed. Oh, I didn't know. But the posture, though. So is the posture necessarily wearing Prada and the materialism? Because we don't see, we're in a world where we see, it says in the word of God, man sees the outer appearance, God sees the heart. We look at the outer and we think people are good with the Mercedes and we got matching Rolexes. But what is the posture that we don't see, y'all? That y'all
that's
can tell something right.
That's the smoke screen, like the Gucci, the Prada, the Benzes, the Lexus, going on these big trips up in these nice houses. That's the smoke screen that they throw up in front of you to be like, yo, it's all good, but for real, and behind closed doors, like you getting beat up, and behind closed doors, you eating the crumbs off the floor behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, like you're not anything to him. Like you're devalued to him. And he probably got a couple of women on the side. Right. Like, come on, let's be real about it.
I like that. So all the success could be a smoke screen.
Absolutely.
And not only that, those trips and that material stuff could be the apology for the abuse that you received the night before.
Exactly.
Have y'all gotten those gifts? Baby, I'm sorry. Here's a fur coat. Here's some money to go shopping. Y'all gotten those gifts?
Here's a car. Here's a car. Here's money to go shopping. Here's money to go out with your friends. Yes, all of it.
Because even people in the circle can miss it.
Absolutely. But I think too, when we look at that, people in the circle may choose to miss it because they also going through the same thing. So be oblivious to really what's going on. Like I'm not even going to acknowledge it.
Wow.
Yeah. Or they're so
Or,
busy trying to hide theirs that they don't see the next person's.
or
Yeah.
they could be benefiting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, Diona, get this Gucci, and if she throw it out, then
I'll get it.
Grab
She's
the
gonna
bag.
get
Grab
it.
the bag.
I mean, is it worth it? My goodness, ladies,
Mhm.
that's good. So you can walk in a room. So 9 times out of 10, you can see something ain't right.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
That's powerful, and that's interesting. And I wish we would really, and I like that you all said, so y'all, we need to stop looking, because how many people, y'all, have we seen committed suicide, and even the families like, oh my gosh, we didn't know, oh my
Right.
gosh, they look so happy, and they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. It's really not. How many people look happy and they're really not?
Exactly.
So what do you say though, Diona or Selika, when you see him, be like, girl, are you okay? Or here's my card, because I know what's going on. Do you all ever do that? Or is it if the spirit leads?
Yeah, for me, it's if the spirit leads. A lot of times I can be on the stage presenting and I can point them out
Oh,
in the
wow.
audience. And afterwards, if they come to me and I said, I wondered if you were gonna come see me because I saw it in your face. But I can definitely pinpoint them, and and it's their facial expressions, depending on what you talk about, their facial expressions will change.
Wow.
Again, that posture will change. They'll come in, they'll sit up, and when you're hitting those right buttons, they'll start shrinking.
Down. Yeah.
Wow. You, Diona?
Yeah, similar. You can, if you're speaking, you can see it. You can see the body language. You can see even the non-eye contact that they are not, they're not making. And then they'll come up to you and say, hey, can I get your number?
Yeah.
A lot of times I have my inbox be jumping a lot of the times. Like,
yeah.
Yo, like, I'm going through, can you help me? And
Yeah.
I treat them as if I'm never shocked or thrown off, but I definitely approach it, because a lot of people that I've been close with, they come to me. I'm never gonna act like, oh my God, what are you doing? It's always, so tell me what's up, like what's going on, and they'll tell me everything. I with much respect. I not tell them, this between you and me. I'm not here to run my mouth or nothing like here. I'm not even here to downplay you. I'm only here to help you. Do you trust me? First I get that consent. Do they trust me? Go ahead, tell me what's going on, and I point them in the right direction. But I thank God. I thank God, because it takes a special gift to deal with this type of demographic of people, because it's such a sensitive subject.
It is.
People don't want to talk about it.
And they don't want to talk about it. Or sometimes, how have you all seen it addressed the wrong way? Domestic violence, because we mean well, you might have a show talking about it, but this is not probably because you don't know who's listening. And see, that's the thing, we got to be responsible here. And we are responsible here at Raise the Praise, right? But even the Dr. Dawn has to be responsible. I could do a show on domestic violence without survivors and just spit some stuff on Google and sound real intelligent, right? Because we see a lot of that going on. But you have to, how have y'all seen it done wrong? Because if anybody is about to have a conversation, a conference, how have you all seen it done wrong? Because there's somebody in that audience who may be abused, somebody who's listening right now. And if you just spitting off stuff because it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month and you trying to get your hashtag, you could be putting someone further.
Don, you hit a nerve with me. Honest to God, you hit a nerve with me, because here's my thing. You cannot get up and address the issue of any type of trauma unless you first have dealt with it and you healed from it and you moved on. Because all you're doing, if you have not, all you're doing is putting your hurt on other people. That spirit is transferring. Why? Because you don't even properly know how to channel healing the right way to these people who are hurt, and then even lead them into the right direction. Yo, I'm telling you, I just saw it. I just saw it. Somebody slapped a program together and is still dealing with it.
So they haven't healed.
They're still in the relationship.
Oh, wow. So what was the conversation about? And we're not condemning them, but I mean, what? What? And I said, I'm not condemning. I'm just asking, what could the show be about if you're still in the abusive relationship?
It's about domestic violence. And God, I ain't gonna lie, it's a nice lineup. It's it's a nice lineup. I can't even really say. It probably would have to be something.
Yeah.
Because it's a really nice lineup. But I'm thinking you're still in your abusive relationship.
Mm.
And and I understand the need to help.
Yeah.
But you have to be removed from that experience to truly help somebody
Mm.
heal. You cannot, if you're not healed, like you can't do you can't, like, no
She wants to
hating.
be, though. She may want to be healed.
Right.
And she wants to help others, because sometimes it's easier to help others than yourself.
Right.
It
Exactly.
could be that she's like, I want to help people but she can't even help herself.
You can't help them the proper way. Like, you may have
Yeah.
this forum, you may have this platform, but for real, like,
Mm.
the way that it's being birthed, because it's your baby. That's just like, for real. That's just like, and I'm being honest.
Yeah.
If I got AIDS and I have a baby, not that baby can contract the AIDS and it can go through. Well, if I'm talking right, if I'm not talking right, correct me. But whatever I have, like this, if I'm carrying a baby, whatever I have transfers on to that baby.
Oh, wow.
And so it's like, you set this baby out here and you haven't been healed, sis.
Or even if, let's say, for instance, you're raising a child in domestic violence, and they grow up seeing it, they're going to grow up. I mean, so we get the analogy, girl. No judgment here, right? But yeah, and we got to pray for her, because I have seen, y'all, where organizations have not. Let me tell you, God will expose.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to pray for people's healing, but I have seen where things don't continue because at the end of the day, you need help. You mean well, but God's going, so we pray for her, but she may want she may want help, Diona.
I think so. And I think hearing you talk has given me some courage to probably sit her down and talk to her about that.
Pray before you do it, though.
Okay.
Pray before you talk. You have the conversation, because remember where you were.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bigger the platform, there's a lot of shame. She's got to put up a front. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So pray before you have the conversation with her, and remember where you were.
Absolutely.
That's because it does frustrate, and sometimes, but pray before you have that conversation, because maybe you don't even need to have it. Maybe the conversation is, stop having this conference, but girl, do you need help? Let me know what you need. And it will lead up to maybe we need to stop. You see what I'm saying? Because what is Selika? You said they don't need that. They need a meal. Right. Maybe she need you to come with something else, Diona. She probably don't have anybody like, you might need to come with a sandwich. You know what I mean? You want to come with, and I know you frustrated, right? Yeah. But pray if you even should have the conversation, and how you have it, and let him lead you. Because again, do you want her to go deeper into, or it could turn into an ugly situation?
Absolutely. And I wouldn't want it to be that.
Yeah, because she needs a friend. Everybody around her thinking things are so good, but you're the one she can come to and say, Diona, I'm struggling. You can be a vessel for her. Yeah. Oh, y'all, we ain't even supposed to talk about that. I tell you. Oh, honey, you see how we do here on this, honey? Oh, yeah, I'm liking it, y'all. Hey, but that's true. We got to pray for her, because you could be that breakthrough for her. You could be that help. And how long did it take you, Selika? How long did it take you, Diona? Yeah. She's got this platform, and we know the bigger the platform, the more shame. We can't tell people. So pray before you have the conversation, and ask, because what does it say? God give us the word. He'll give you the words. The words may be, I'm here for you, girl. If she keep having conferences, that's on her. But I'm here for you, girl. Just like you said we supposed to do for you when you were in that place.
Amen.
So yeah. Selika, you?
I see a lot of hopping.
What do you mean?
Like this month, your thing may be domestic violence. You're with whatever the new thing is. And if you've not experienced it, or don't have the right resources to give people, or you can't lead them in the right direction, why do it?
Oh, wow. That's good.
That is good.
But Diona, I do like what you say. If you have not healed, you're but Selika on that side, if because I try to be responsible with this though, right? And I have a list of credible, reputable, but it's up to you to reach out. I don't know.
Right.
I can't reach through the phone and the DM and see who's right. But I'm here. It is going to be confidential. I have
Right.
the list because all you can do. But if you don't have the right resources,
Exactly. If you don't have any resources, leave it alone.
wow,
Leave it
that's
alone.
good.
You
Because
know
you don't
what?
have to touch everything.
No, you don't. You don't.
Exactly.
You don't. You don't.
You don't need to every cause you don't need to be getting involved in.
I mean, that's just like when you hear the preacher say, I don't need to lay my hands on everybody.
And look, on the other side, I don't want everybody laying their hands on me.
No, no.
No transfer. No
All
transfer.
right, okay.
No.
Who was the Selika? No, that was Kelly. She's the survivor of spiritual abuse. Powerful sister. She has a powerful testimony and about how spiritual abuse. No, wolves in sheep's clothing.
Baby, I was just in the prayer line Sunday, and I was like, that's who I want to pray for me right there. I know that. I know her. I know her spirit.
Amen.
That's who I want to lay hands on me. I don't know nobody else like that.
I know. Because I tell people you can't get on everybody's prayer line.
No. No.
6 o'clock prayer call. Good for you. I don't know you like that. What do you need me to pray for? What you in my y'all? You better what? Some of these people just want to be in your business.
Yeah.
And this isn't important. Hopefully, y'all are feeling we're handling the conversation in a responsible way, ladies. We're having a little fun.
I mean, it's the absolute truth though, and the truth needs to be told. You know,
Wow.
if someone is already hurting, why would you perpetrate to be helped that you're not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, that's
right.
That's not helping the situation at all.
That's right.
At all.
Oh, wow.
You
because
know,
don't you think everybody's trying to be the expert at everything nowadays? Everybody's the expert. You're not an expert at anything. You need to bring the survivors on, and then you need to bring a doctor therapist on because it is dangerous. We're responsible, right? Because Selika, if you say something out of line, what if somebody just takes it?
Yes.
Man, or Diona, even when you guys wrote your books, I'm sure you prayed like, okay, I got to be careful with these words.
Absolutely.
Lord, give me the words to say.
Amen.
Whatever it is that you want me to share, allow me to share it. And that's before I go on any stage or anything else.
That's right.
Yep.
I need him to give me the words to say.
That's right. Because this is very important. And I want to touch on that. Let's talk about resources now. Because we have talked other things. And we'll be continuing this conversation through the month, people. But the thing is, let's talk resources. Where can people go? And then talk to us as friends. First you, Diona, and then you, Selika. Friends, what do we do? First of all, but give us some resources, guys. Reputable, credible resources. Because you can put in domestic violence and anything can pop up. But what organizations have you seen that you refer people to? Because somebody listening right now is saying, I need it, or I need to refer a friend.
So I always refer them to the domestic violence hotline. That's the number one thing. And then they'll be able to like channel them through or funnel them through to who they could connect with, depending on whatever state that they're in or city. They'll be able to link them and connect them. Also, we have a shelter called Choices. They have a lot of different resources. And then we have another resource that is actually linked through our children's hospital here. They help with getting legal aid, housing.
Oh, that's good.
A lot, like clothing. They help out a whole lot. So it's either those three that I typically refer them to that I know they'll get the proper help that they need for whatever.
And we will get your contact information because if somebody wants to reach out to you, Diona, they're like, Choices, what is that? Where is, you know what I mean? So but I like that you said, I lead them because you're not trying to take more than what you're equipped to.
No.
So I like that. You, Selika, what resources have do you want to shout out?
Yeah. So, of course, the domestic violence hotline, 800-799-SAFE.
That's good.
I'll use our local coalition against domestic violence, 800-398-3234. That's our local coalition against domestic violence. Also, you can start, and I know a lot of people have issues with the actual law enforcement realm, but some of our offices do have advocates that are there that if, they can actually help bring your case to light. They can, they walk with you. They're sitting in court with you when you get into protection orders. I've sat beside women who were hyperventilating when they would see their abuser come in. And there are certain things that you need to know about victims' rights as well. Just like that lady, and I'm like, hey, her right is she does not have to sit in this room until it's her turn to testify. They have to offer you alternate space, and that's for Mississippi. And so there are a lot of things that advocates can kind of help you on, like how to prove your domestic violence. What can you do to help prove your domestic violence? What type of evidence would you need?
Or this is what I just thought of. Ask the police department, is there an advocate here?
Yeah.
Because that person, and let me be responsible, because speaking from emotion, we talked about law enforcement. Diona, your truth is what it is. The ball was dropped, right? But I do not want people not to call the police. So if anybody out there, Dr. Dunn said, no, call the police. I absolutely apologize if there's any victim out there, if there is any law enforcement listening who says, that is irresponsible of me. So no, you should call the police if something is going on. So I asked for forgiveness for that. And there are many times, y'all, believe it or not, on the mic, I have to apologize for things, but being led by emotion. But I don't want anybody out there thinking, Dr. Dunn said, don't call the police. They're not going to help. No. Diona, the ball was dropped. We were just raising awareness on what can happen. But absolutely call the police. If you go file a complaint, is there an advocate? Or is there someone else I can talk to if that detective or officer seems a little busy or a little preoccupied? Okay. You got to basically, what they're saying, you got to fight, push through to get your rights, push through. So I ask for forgiveness, God, and then for anyone listening for saying that, because I do not want anyone feeling like I'm just going to take it and the police are never going to help. I should not have said that. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to say that.
So yeah, I mean, for me, I'm really big on victims' rights, that they understand what's what services they can receive, what accommodations have to be made. I'm really, really big on that, because that's a lot of things that people don't know. Actually, for any domestic call, this is for the state of Mississippi, that officer should give her or him a victims' rights packet that outlines the victims that services. It outlines all of the numbers that you would need to call. And if not, they don't know to ask for it. So those are some of the things that I push for when I'm advocating for anyone.
That's good. So if I'm to go file a complaint and they don't give me that, every police department around the country, or is it just in certain counties?
No, I know definitely for Mississippi. And if you don't, you can actually reach out to the AG's office.
Which is what?
Our Attorney General's office. I'm sorry. Our Attorney General.
I know what it means, but somebody's like, AG, what's that? I like that. No. And it's not funny because people don't know. I mean, seriously, I know because I used to work, was a paralegal, but anyway. That's it. Yeah. But so if we go file a complaint, first of all, we should get a package or something, or do you have a list of resources? And unfortunately, the victim doesn't know. Their mind's all over the place, right, guys? So are they going to think to ask for that? No, they come to the police for help, but you might need to ask, hey, is there a list? Is there a package? And
then what happens? They're actually supposed to get it. And on the advocate end, they're supposed to initial. There's a top page that they're supposed to initial and give it to that advocate to say, hey, I gave them that victim's rights packet.
Okay.
That's good.
And so, like I said, there are a lot of things that, when you're going through a domestic, that you don't know, things that I had to learn. And kind of like with you, Miss Diona, when I had not so great encounters with law enforcement, there was the only one way that I could change the system, and that was to get involved.
Yep, absolutely.
And so, everything that I didn't receive, I wanted to make sure that every client that I came across received the trauma-informed services, that they received the referrals, that they had someone to walk with them. And that's why I'm just so passionate about what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get your healing, I think it's my responsibility to help another sister or another brother get their healing. And by brother, I don't mean just Black. I mean,
yeah. Humans. How about humans?
Yes. Yes.
Do you think you, Selika, that you have a relationship with the police could get one of them on here, you and them together? See if you could.
Okay.
And because you know me, right? And I've apologized for what I've said, but let's educate. It's my ignorance, right? I'm speaking on, so this is a wake-up call. Dr. Dunn, you need to do a show to educate us. Because I don't want to speak ignorance out here. Let's hear from law enforcement. Let's hear from law enforcement. And Diona, I'm sorry that happened to you. Absolutely, but it can happen to others. But what are we doing? So I wanna talk about it, Selika. Let's if you can get one.
Yes.
Get one, you and them come on together and let's ask these tough questions and talk about it. What is the process? What have been the challenges? How are y'all improving? You see what I'm saying? We want to make the victims feel like they can go because again, it's educate me. I like to be educated. And this is a wake-up call. I think this is a wake-up call for all of us. I've been woke.
Yeah.
Y'all woke me up on some things.
Yeah, our department here, I feel like they're doing a little bit better.
Yeah.
And this is no way or reason to brag, but I think my case woke them up to domestic violence and how they approach it.
Yeah.
I was fortunate, like I entered into a pageant. I never did a pageant before. Nothing. But all I knew is I had a cause, and I felt like with this little sash around me, I can get into places that I might not be able to get into when it comes to domestic violence. And so my charge was, I wanted to know, what are you doing to hold law enforcement accountable?
That's good.
And what are you doing to hold policymakers accountable for the safety of domestic violence survivors? And so one of the best interviews I had, because I went to resource places that provided resources.
Yes.
I also went to our prosecutor for the city, and I talked with the chief of the department, the police department.
Yeah.
And so I really engaged with the police department because of, of course, for personal reasons, but also so I can carry this back to other people. And so they are doing more training when it comes to domestic violence.
Okay. They
have a grant that allows them. They're actually cohorting with the resource. It's called Center for Family Safety and Healing, but they deal with domestic violence survivors. They're getting together, and what they're doing is they are allowing a domestic violence advocate to write with the police when they have domestic violence phone calls.
That's good.
Because one, police are put in danger when those phone calls happen, but to have that advocate there who has that language,
yes,
to be able to bridge the gap between the survivor that's in that situation and the policeman. And so I think that right there is a huge step. And then they also gave our police department a grant where they can provide survivors with diapers and food and things like that.
Oh, that's good.
Immediately, so that it'll help.
That's good.
That's really good. Yeah, I thought that was dope. I did.
But you know what? You said it. A lot of times these, they don't know unless it's exposed. And unfortunately, they get trained by your situations, right? They don't know, but now they know. But I'm glad that I'm seeing some action.
Exactly.
And maybe that's what needs to be talked about more too. There are diapers, because that mom is going to need some diapers for her baby. She's had the courage to take her dirty baby out of that dirty diapered baby. Let's change the baby's diaper while we're talking about whatever. Filing the report. I mean, so these things are good to know that we are seeing some action. And then the policymakers who make the laws.
Yes.
Accountability. I like that. Because unfortunately, we only want to move when something happens. Okay, let's do a bill. Okay, well, you got to be proactive. It's going on enough now to where let's address it. So I like that you all are talking about that. Selika, I like that. I am going to be reaching out to y'all, and I might reach out to HPD, but sometime if they don't know you, they'll be like, well, what are you going to ask? And I don't like to have any conversation where we talking about everything's perfect. No, we want to know some education, and we want to know where are the improvements being made. And we got to bring the community and law enforcement together, because that's really the only way. And I'm talking about with just all this, y'all. And God's, I was thinking my voice can make a difference to divide or to bring together.
Yeah.
And if I speak poison, I mean, we're going to speak truth, right?
Right.
But I don't want to divide the community and law enforcement, because we need each other.
Absolutely.
So I like that we're talking truth, but at the end of the day, my voice has to be, because we talked about responsibility, right? So y'all woke me up. Y'all think y'all blessing me. I'm blessing y'all. I mean, y'all are blessing me. Y'all think it's my pleasure to have you ladies on here. It really is. I thank you for waking me up. Selika, give us your contact information. And then Diona, give us your contact information.
Sure. You can always find me on Instagram. My passion is my purpose. IG, my passion is my purpose. You can find me on Facebook under my name, Selika Corley-Funchess. Let's see. LinkedIn under my name. I don't actually use Twitter a whole lot, but I use Instagram and Facebook the most. So if you inbox me and I see your message, I will quickly respond. Especially if you're in Mississippi, I can definitely help you.
Yeah.
Just don't be afraid to reach out, even if you're not quite ready or you're just thinking about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, because you guys as advocates in this and having lived it, they just need to know Diona's here. They just need to know. You can't force them, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna see Selika. She means business. She's got her picture up here like this with her arms full. She ain't playing with y'all. She ain't playing. Diona, give us your information. No, but Selika, what's the website again?
WithoutConsentFoundation.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And DM her if you need help, if you need, or DM me. You all know that, and I, whatever you need, because that is what we're about here, people. It's going to be confidential, but we want to get you the help. So if you don't remember all that, don't worry about it. Hit me up, and we'll get what you need. Diona, you give us your information.
Yes, so I did just connect with you on Instagram. I just followed you, so open it. So
is that what you were doing there?
Yes, that's what I'm doing. I was finding her on Instagram, so I found her. So I like being connected with people that are in the same fight. It makes it a little easier. But I can be reached on Facebook under my name, Diona Clark, and then on Instagram under Diona Live Out Loud. So that's the LIVOUTLOUD. I'm on LinkedIn under my name. My website is www.livout, the number 4, the letter U.org. I always get stuck on that, but yeah. Hey. So it's liveoutloudforyou.org.
That's good. That's good. I tell you, and I like that you both, because you may connect as the Lord leads. Maybe if it's a conversation, it doesn't have to be a conference, right? Everybody, you don't have to do all that. Maybe it's just a conversation, or hey, give me your resources, I'll give you mine, so we can help change the world.
Absolutely.
Ladies, God bless you. We will do a part 2. Yes. I want to do a Sunday something. I don't know. My mind's always going. How can we do this again? And we'll probably do it. We're going to do it again before the month. I will send you both an email. Talk amongst yourselves. What day is better? Y'all decide. Y'all let me know. And don't be, I don't want to interrupt y'all favorite TV show or nothing. I don't know what y'all. So I'm going to give you several options. Is that what you were looking at, Diona? Really? She was looking at
football now. Come on,
really? Football. See, I'm not a sports person. When is football? Sundays?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just say that. It's no judgment, just realness. Then say Dr. Dunn Sunday ain't gonna work. That's all I need to know, Diona. So we will not do it Sunday, right?
Thursdays is football too, but you know what?
Who's playing tonight?
I don't even know who's playing tonight.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, because it's still on. It's still on. But no, I love this. I love this. I love this though. I love this more than football.
Yeah, just glance over every now and then to catch the score. I know that's what you. Oh, I'm on Instagram following you, Selika. No, you're not. You looking at the score. These people lie, y'all. They lying to Dr. Dawn. She
did send me a follow. So
hey, but that don't mean she wasn't checking the score. Okay. Yeah, but I ain't mad at you. But I want to say, no, we are going to do a part 2. Don't worry. It will be, I'll send you several dates. We'll talk amongst each other. Let me know and we'll make it happen. Because the radio shows are booked for the month. But then, I mean, we can do it anytime through the StreamYard. And I will have no music playing. So he ain't playing Mark Zuckerberg playing with me. Y'all. Have you ever, but you got to forgive, right? But trust and believe. I'm telling you, I can't wait to be a billionaire one day so I can say, I remember on October 6th. I just want to let you know.
Exactly.
Anyway, but God is good. I want to thank every one of you. Thank you. Lady T sent another text. She said, this is good. Oh, nice. You all are blessing people. And I thank you for your spirits, y'all. We've had a good conversation.
This was good.
Have a good conversation. It was what?
Full. It was full.
Y'all bless me. Y'all really did. And Selika, we're going to talk about the law enforcement if we can make it happen. And this is only because you know them. Sometimes when you reach out to people blind, they're like, I don't know her. Is she? But Selika, you vouch for me. And then we'll talk about how the conversation will go. Because we're going to have real talk, but we want it to be educational and a positive thing. So this is good. I'm gonna let y'all go because the Dr. Don, we got to go. We've been talking for 5 hours. Well, it was good, right?
It was good.
Y'all, Diona got to get her game on. She playing
exactly.
with me.
I'm gonna run straight to the TV.
And I ain't mad at you, girl. But I want to say God bless you ladies. People, this will be up on my YouTube channel, so you can catch the replay, and also I'll share it on my podcast platform, so we're fine. But ladies, I just want to say thank you. You have definitely blessed the mic. Continue to do what you do, and we will talk soon.
Yes, ma'am.
But not on Sunday. Okay, bye. And look, Diona, don't be talking to that lady unless you pray about it first.
Oh, right. I'm definitely taking heed to what you said. I definitely will. And actually, I'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, I will.
Yeah. Keep us posted.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. And I'm sorry that people heard the before show conversation. At least we wasn't cussing and talking bad about people. Hey, sorry, y'all. I can't do everything. Okay. Hey.
Maybe
I told the owner, hey, you get the real conversation when you think the mic off, when people but at least we wasn't talking bad about people.
Nah, somebody learned a lesson. They should have learned a valuable lesson. Hey, yo, it don't matter if the wedding paid for, blah, blah, blah. If you ain't doing it, don't do it. Because it may end in destruction.
Yeah. That was a show. Y'all really got 2 shows.
Yeah.
They did. They got the before show and they got the show.
Hey, after party, whatever. Okay. Yeah. So God bless you. And I will talk to you soon, ladies. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank